In today's video, we're going to cover the top 10 magical creatures you want in Hogwarts Legacy. People of the internet's Retro Raconteur here. If we're meeting for the first time, I'm just a dad who loves games and the stories they tell. We post videos every week here on YouTube and also stream over on Twitch. I promise, the Twitch streams, they're coming back, guys. I promise. For all the latest Hogwarts Legacy news, be sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the new updates, rumors, or theories about the game. Here we've already talked about the confirmed magical creatures using information from the trailer, official wallpaper, and a PlayStation blog post. But what about creatures we haven't seen just yet? Look, magical creatures are going to play a huge role in Hogwarts Legacy. I even think they're going to be an incredibly crucial aspect of the game's main storylines. So even though we know about quite a few already, I think we're going to see plenty more in the final game. But which creatures do you guys want the most? Well, I asked you on a previous video, I've been checking the Reddit, and here we go. Let's get into the list, and then I'll tell you which ones I think have the best shot to make it into the game. And once you've heard my take, be sure and leave me a comment down below letting me know which creatures from this list you think will or won't make it into the game. We'll start with the creature that I would say is probably the most requested I've seen, and that is the Phoenix. This is no surprise considering how powerful this creature is in the Wizarding world. Harry Potter fans got to know the Phoenix quite well in the main series through Fawkes, who was Albus Dumbledore's personal Phoenix. Fawkes, of course, played a prominent role in Book 2 of the series, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, helping Harry to defeat the Basilisk and eventually healing his wounds with Phoenix Tears. Fawkes also helped Dumbledore make his escape in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. He even took a killing curse from Voldemort head-on in the battle at the Department of Mysteries. Avada Kedavra did indeed destroy the Phoenix then and there, but can you ever really kill one of these creatures? Of course, we know Fawkes would later be reborn from the ashes, which is by far the Phoenix's most incredible ability. They're insanely powerful beings, which is why they're one of the few creatures in the Wizarding world whose feathers can be used in wand making. Up next, we have Nifflers. We were first introduced to these little guys in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. In one of Hagrid's more successful lessons, I might add, he taught the students about Nifflers by hiding leprechaun gold in the earth. Each student was given a Niffler, and the one who found the most gold would win. It was actually Ron Weasley's Niffler who ended up finding the most gold. Of course, Nifflers have also been featured even more in the Fantastic Beasts movies. They're known for their gentle disposition, but their attraction to anything shiny can make them rather difficult to keep around. That being said, they've proven to be helpful creatures on more than one occasion and could certainly have a role in Hogwarts Legacy. Number 3, the Unicorn. Despite being one of, I would say, the most familiar and well-known mythical beasts in our culture today, unicorns were featured surprisingly little in the Harry Potter series. Unfortunately, the only time we actually see a unicorn in the series is in Book 1 after Voldemort has killed, I think actually 2 in the Forbidden Forest. The blood of the unicorn was said to have such powerful magical properties that it would keep someone alive even if they were an inch from death. Of course, it was said to come at a terrible price, which would curse the drinker from the moment the blood touched their lips. Unicorns would pop up occasionally throughout the rest of the series in students' lessons and exams, but they were never really featured as prominently again as they were in Book 1. Like phoenixes, though, unicorns have such potent magical capabilities that their hairs are used in wands. Garrick Ollivander actually considered them to be a supreme wand core along with phoenix feathers and dragon heartstring. Number 4, Bowtruckles. Another creature that has been featured prominently in the Fantastic Beasts movies but was first introduced to Harry Potter fans via Hagrid is the Bowtruckle. These tree-dwelling creatures are only around 8 inches tall. They have long, sharp fingers and their stick-like figure makes them difficult to spot among trees. Now, I personally think Bowtruckles are highly likely to be in Hogwarts Legacy, and here's why. There was actually a little island in the Black Lake known as Bowtruckle Island. This is, of course, where Newt spent a lot of time during his years at Hogwarts. He would go to the island and learn about the Bowtruckles in their native habitat. Newt being Newt, he was able to befriend them in rather short order. He also took his friend Leta Lestrange to the island in an attempt to cheer her up when he found her by the lake crying one day. So with this being an open world game where so much is set to take place at Hogwarts, I'd actually be pretty surprised if Bowtruckles don't end up in the final game. Number 5, speaking of other creatures in and around Hogwarts, what about the giant squid? Perhaps I should say a giant squid, as any squids we meet in Hogwarts Legacy certainly wouldn't be the same squid students talk of in Harry's day. Now here's an interesting tidbit on the giant squid that comes to us courtesy of the Harry Potter wiki. Of course, giant squids actually exist in our own world, but what we know about them doesn't quite match up with the giant squid we read about in Harry Potter inhabiting the Black Lake. So I think this probably means this giant squid is maybe a subspecies with certain magical properties. In the Harry Potter series, we know students love to joke about the giant squid and sometimes even seem to fear it a little bit, but everything we know suggests that the giant squid, at least in the Harry Potter series, is harmless. It didn't attack Krum in Book 4 when he swam in the lake. Students were able to feed it bread on occasion, and it actually even rescued Dennis Creevey when he fell into the lake, again in Book 4. All right, for number 6, let's stick with another aquatic creature here and talk about the Kelpie. Unlike the giant squid, these things are incredibly dangerous to humans. Kelpies are shape-shifting water demons that are said to lurk in rivers and streams. They usually take on the appearance of a horse and invite humans to ride across. If humans take the Kelpie up on the offer, the beast will drag the rider under and attempt to eat them. Yes, you heard me right, eat them. Newt actually managed to tame a Kelpie using a bridle. Note to self, though, should you see a horse in a river in Hogwarts Legacy, do not attempt to ride it. At number 7, and rounding out the water creatures for the list, we have the Siren. Sirens are actually the earliest recorded race of merpeople in the wizarding world. They were exceptionally beautiful, and it's believed they used their singing voices to lure sailors into the water. A siren is depicted on the portrait from the prefect's bathroom on the 5th floor of Hogwarts. This portrait helped the Triwizard Champions, again, Book 4, specifically Cedric Diggory, in figuring out the mystery of the golden egg. So even if we don't see an actual siren in Hogwarts Legacy, I'm definitely interested to see if the one pictured in the prefect's bathroom makes an appearance as we're exploring the castle. And at number 8, we have the Demiguise, a peaceful herbivore with 2 insane magical abilities. 1, the power to become invisible, and 2, the power to see the future. Because of their precognitive sight, they're insanely hard to catch. Their pelts make them highly sought after, though, as they're used in making invisibility cloaks. It's said that cloaks made in this way eventually lose their effect because the hairs turn opaque over time. You may remember, again, Newt Scamander had a Demiguise, which escaped in the middle of New York City during his trip there in 1926. At number 9, let's talk werewolves. Of all the beasts featured on this list, I would say the werewolf is one of the most well-known throughout all of Harry Potter lore, thanks in large part to Remus Lupin. Unlike any other beast on this list, werewolves are, of course, partly human. There are numerous variations of the werewolf throughout popular culture, and in the wizarding world of Harry Potter, they work mostly in ways that we're familiar with. With the rising of the full moon, the human suffering from lycanthropy is transformed into an uncontrollable wolf with no recollection of their true identity. It's said a werewolf would even murder their best friend if given the chance. Now, they have no control over the transformation, but perhaps most frighteningly, the memories of what they do in werewolf form will actually remain with them when they return to human form. Should we see any werewolves in Hogwarts Legacy, it's safe to say they will be thoroughly shunned and mistreated by the majority of the wizarding world. Even Lupin, much later in the timeline than what Hogwarts Legacy is said to take place in, faced prejudice and discrimination in what we read. We started the list with an incredibly powerful bird in the Phoenix, and now we have another immensely powerful bird in the Thunderbird. These golden and white birds are close relatives of the Phoenix and native to North America. Thunderbirds can actually create storms around them, and they're said to be highly sensitive to danger. Last but not least, Thunderbirds are also one of the 4 house mascots at Ilvermorny School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, which is, of course, located in North America. So unless we're heading to America at some point in Hogwarts Legacy, I have to say I think the Thunderbird is unlikely, as much as I would love to see one of these things in a video game. The Demiguise is found in the Far East, so unfortunately I would say chances on that one are low as well. Bowtruckles have a high chance of being in, mainly because of the aforementioned Bowtruckle Island located on the Black Lake. I also feel pretty good about at least seeing the tentacles of the giant squid. Not really sure if we'll be able to explore underwater or not. If we do get that underwater exploration, then it will almost certainly feature merpeople there and maybe kelpies as well. Now, Nifflers have appeared in both Fantastic Beasts and the Harry Potter series, so I do expect we'll see Nifflers in the game. There's a lot Avalanche could do in terms of gameplay that take advantage of their magical abilities to find shiny objects. As for unicorns and werewolves, I can't get a really good feel on either of these. The game is hopefully going to be a massive game with multiple quest lines, and a werewolf storyline somewhere along the way would absolutely serve that purpose well. That being said, werewolves and unicorns, they've been done so many times, so I could see Avalanche just electing to stay away from them for the game. Again, though, as we already pointed out, unicorns were actually featured surprisingly little in Harry Potter. So maybe they take the opportunity to do a little bit more with the unicorn here. And then we have the Phoenix. This one is so immensely popular in the wizarding world and among fans that I wouldn't be at all surprised to see it. However, it's important to remember it is a very rare creature. So I'd have to say this one is a bit of a toss-up for me. Now, if you've missed any of our other videos on the confirmed magical creatures or my theory on how they'll play a huge role in the game's story, you can check out these two videos on the right side of your screen now. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Keep each other safe, keep faith, and I'll talk to you again soon.